Welcome, friends. Hope you are doing fantastic this morning. I let a few people jump on here as I wanted to chat a little bit this morning with you guys about the benefits of discipline. I've yet to meet someone that has really accomplished what it is they want to accomplish in their life, or something great for that matter, that has not embrace the reality of discipline and its benefits. But I just think a lot of people don't, because they maybe don't have the right perspective or value kind of viewpoint towards it. And so I just wanted to go over a little bit of that this morning and give you guys some things, some tangible things you can grab a hold of. Not only just some, hello, Jeanette. Go ahead and chime in where you guys are listening from as well. Thanks for joining. Not only do we need a perspective shift, which it obviously has to start there, but we also need some tangible, like practical steps we can take towards embracing, the new change that starts with our thinking and plays out through our actions. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about that today, because I see so many people struggling with discipline in their lives. All of us have probably, Carl chiming in from Seattle, welcome. All of us have all of us have struggled with discipline at some point. Every single one, especially those of us in recovery. Like, come on. We don't even need to talk about that. But as we've seen, for living in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, awesome, welcome. For those of us that have lived in some recovery, we also know benefits bring great discipline, and we really, really need it. So I just want to talk a little bit about it. And, the biggest thing, I was putting some thought into this last night and this morning, and I realized something. The biggest thing, I feel like the starting place has to be that people who struggle with addiction are already extremely disciplined. Think about it. Do you know how much discipline it takes to stay drunk and stay high for years? It takes so much work. It's unbelievable. Anyone that's been through it knows what I'm talking about. You have to put in so much energy. You are constantly thinking, how am I going to do this? The lie that you told, how to manage it, the money, the manipulation, how am I going to get there? How am I going to do it? That's discipline. It takes a ton of discipline to stay drunk and to stay high. Now, it's not the discipline we're looking for. It's not the results that we want. But nonetheless, that's a form of discipline. And I got to thinking about it, and people are like, well, I'm not disciplined. I watch so much Netflix. Do you understand, though, that it takes discipline to watch that much Netflix? It takes a lot of focus to stay that dialed in and constantly be watching Netflix, eating the food, staying drunk, that is a form of discipline. Now, for people like us, it typically we got to hit the bottom. Which is unfortunate, which is probably a whole nother topic for another day. I've talked a lot about it recently, but here's the truth. Rock bottom, it's real simple. It's just wherever you decide to stop digging. And that principle is magnified when it comes to addiction, obviously, but the same principle plays out in other areas of our life when it comes to change. If we want to change or we don't want to change, the same principle plays out. It's like, okay, so we get clean and sober and we pick up a eating habit, or we're drinking too much coffee, or we're still addicted to porn, or we want to quit cigarettes, or just fill in the blank. Well, you don't have to stoop to the lowest place. You don't have to hit another rock bottom with that in order to change. It's unfortunate that that's often what happens. And people like us, it's easier to grab a hold of, people who've struggled with addiction, it's easier to grab a hold of, I really got to change, I got to embrace discipline, when you've experienced what life is like without it. It's kind of a life or death thing with us. It's like, I got to change, I got to do this, and I got to do it now, because I know the alternative if I don't embrace somewhat of a lifestyle of discipline. And so for us, there's something else motivating us, but you don't have to hit the rock bottom. You don't got to sink all the way to the bottom in order to embrace the change. Rock bottom is just wherever you decide to stop digging. Carl chimed in and said how people can be too hard on themselves, and sometimes discipline makes them relapse. I would agree, but I would agree that only happens if they have a wrong perspective of what discipline is. That would mean that we have a discipline of I have to do everything perfect, or I'm just going to fail, or if I don't do it right, I'm a failure. That's not what I'm talking about. And I believe that that's why so many people have such a hard time embracing discipline, because they think it means I gotta work, I gotta be perfect, I gotta this. And that'll just burn somebody out. Okay. But look, when we realize that what I'm doing right now has an impact on my tomorrow, what the choices I'm making today are going to play out tomorrow and the next day, and so on and so forth. I talk about it with students when I go speak in schools all the time. I'm saying you may not realize it right now. When we're adults, we've realized it because we've made some right decisions and some wrong decisions, okay? But we realize something when we say, the choices I'm making right now are going to affect my tomorrow. I spend all my money, guess what? I probably won't have any for my bills, right? But when I realize my decisions right now affect what it is I'm going to be partaking of tomorrow, well, I begin to get a little bit more of a vision. And I believe one of the starting places to embrace discipline in our lives is being able to embrace correction. If I've been trying to do it my way and I haven't been getting results, well, then I need to shift the way I see it and the way I'm doing things. It's got to change. Einstein said it best. The quote gets paraphrased all the time. He said, you're not going to change a problem with the same thinking that created it. And so when we get a different perspective on it, I'll tell you how it came about in my life. It came about in my life when I had someone coach me into recovery. Okay, a mentor, a sponsor, a coach, a friend. We have to be able to take direction and take direction and correction, because my way of thinking got me to a place of not having what I want in my life. Therefore, if I've been doing it my way, not been getting what I want, I'm going to need to shift and take direction and follow somebody else's direction and correction into the right way of doing that. So I feel like, the starting place when it comes to embracing discipline in our lives is being able to embrace some correction and taking a new direction. And that comes by listening to somebody guide us that's been there and that knows how to get us there, and taking that direction, humbling ourselves, and I'm clearly not doing this the right way. And I need to apply my discipline, because it takes a ton of discipline to stay high and drunk. A ton, okay? We just need to shift that discipline into something that actually gets us the results that we want. I realized something. Jesus, he was talking about, if you look in John 15, he's talking about pruning, all right? Now, he gives the analogy of like a gardener, agriculture or whatnot. And he talks about how you get in the plant there and you cut back the branches. And it can, the discipline, the cutting back of foliage, such a funny word, of too much of it the right way, it's not a minimizing of our life. It's actually it positions us to expand our life. Because when somebody that knows what they're doing can come in and can prune a tree the right way, it may look like it's less, but guess what? It actually ends up being way more. Less is way more. And so when I whittled my life down, it began to really shift in my life when people started recommending me. They said, listen, you need to be praying and reading, and you need to start your day that way. You need to start your day in a disciplined way in prayer and reading, and get yourself on the right. Now, I had never done that in my life. I started my days off, 12 years ago, and the 13 years prior, my day started by I just got high and drunk. That's how I started my day. Or I slept in till noon or whatever, trying to sleep off the hangover. My days never started that way. But somebody said, if you want to get to where it is you want to go, your actions, discipline, need to shift here, and it will begin to bring about the results there. And I hadn't experienced that in my life yet, but I accepted the correction and the direction, and I began to do it. And here's what sold me on discipline and early recovery. Still to this day, over 11 and a half years later, you could ask my wife or anybody, I'm up before the sunrise every single day, reading, praying, writing, every single day. Guess what? There's days I don't want to do it. I tell my wife, it's like there's days I'm going to sleep that night. I'm like, I do not want to get up early tomorrow. There's days I don't want to do it. I don't get up because I'm like, oh man, God's going to be mad at me if I don't. Oh my gosh, my day's going to be terrible. Oh, if I don't, I'm going to fail. It's not the reasons why I get a perspective here to do it when I don't want to do it. The reason that I am able to step into that place and do it when I don't want to do it. The reason why is because I've experienced the benefits of doing what I don't want to, doing the right thing when I don't want to do it. And I've experienced the benefits on the other side. Therefore, it's the results on the other side of the work that have sold me and driven me into staying disciplined on a daily basis. And people begin to start telling me that in early recovery, the benefits of staying disciplined and focused on starting the day the right way. Okay. And I started doing it, and my life changed so fast. I could do nothing right in my life. I'm not exaggerating. Nothing. I was 26, defeated, lost, broken, everything done. Okay, I could do nothing right. It wasn't just I got up early and prayed and read and everything. No, it was the steps. You know, there's other topics to discuss. It was the steps. It was community. It was taking all these things. Okay, but listen, when I began to say I'm going to do the right thing and people are watching or they're not watching, I'm doing the right thing. Okay, and I got up early whether I was tired or not tired, felt like it or didn't feel like it, because I know the benefits that are waiting for me over there. Okay, you ask someone that loves to go to that runs, right, and they get what they call the runner's high. A lot of them will tell you they don't always like the running. I've talked to some people that do. You know, they love the burn in the lung. I'm like, that's not me. But some people don't even really enjoy running all that much. What they love so much is the feeling after they're done running, and that's what motivates them to get them through it. And so I would do that. I would get up and I would do it, and I began to realize like I had so much more clarity. I had less triggers. And if a trigger did pop up, I was in such a good place to handle it. I had way more peace in my life. I was able to be clear and present in my relationships. I was able to have the hard conversations more and more because I was disciplined in starting my day the right way, whether I felt like it or not, because I know the benefits. And it positioned me to go into my day every day on firm footing and handle things the right way instead of run from them and just numb myself. All right. The last thing, I want to leave you guys with something practical you can grab a hold of, okay, that you can begin to apply. Something simple, all right? Now, I just believe one of the things that's really going to benefit us in discipline is having a vision. If I don't have a vision for where I'm going, well, guess what? Where am I going? I lived 26 years of my life that way. I thought I was going somewhere, but my actions never got me anywhere but hospitals, jails, institutions, all dope house, all that stuff, right? But when I began, you know, when it got bad enough, which it doesn't have to get bad enough to change. It just, unfortunately, that's usually what happens. When it got bad enough and I said, I'm finally like, I'm done. I'm going to change. Okay, I surrender. I give up. And I began to apply discipline and whatnot. One of the things that really benefited me in the discipline was having a vision. Well, where am I going? What is it I want to accomplish? Okay, so there's the obvious. Well, I just want to stay clean and sober today. At some point that goes without being said. At some point, like over 11 years into my recovery, I don't wake up every day and I'm like, my focus is just stay clean and sober today. So yes, but at some point that needs to, I feel like it's not that it doesn't become important or not the focus, but like, no, I have a family I provide for. I have a business. I have things I want to accomplish in life. I have dreams I want to get to. I have people I want to help, places I want to go, things I want to do. Well, what am I doing right now? How am I disciplining myself right now to get to that place over there? That's why I say it's like a vision is important when it comes to, because it's really going to help me have more discipline in the moment if I have a vision for where I'm going and what I want to do and how it is I want to get there. And so I tell people, you know, people say like, what's your 5-year vision? Well, let's just get way simpler here. Let's just say, what is it you want to do in 90 days? Where do you want to be in 90 days? Let's break off a real amount of time and a chunk and something tangible and begin to get real traction and just say, well, where is it you just want to be in 90 days? Just 90 days. Where does it you want to be? I tell people, if you're really serious about wanting to step into some discipline, a vision is mandatory to helping us have more discipline in the moment, okay? But write it down. Write down, and I tell people, I say, don't write down what you think you might be able to do, which, well, I hope so, but I don't think it'll happen. What do you want? What do you really want to be in 90 days? Get real. Where do you want to be in 90 days? What kind of change do you want to see happening? Because when you begin to write it down, well, there's another level of accountability. All of a sudden, I'm seeing it. All of a sudden, it's becoming realer in here. All of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute, I made a commitment to change. Wait a minute, I made a commitment to going somewhere. you know? So I tell people, where do you want to be in 90 days? Write it down. Write down the change you think is possible and the place you want to be in just 90 days. All right. The next step is a very, very simple one. Write down how you feel is the most effective way to pray to bring about what it is you're hoping to see in 90 days. Because something, and it's not just like, well, yeah, let's pray. That's the religious duty. It's so much more than that, and the right perspective is extremely beneficial. Listen, when we begin to pray, it changes us as much as it changes our circumstances. When I begin to write down the vision for how I want to change, what it is, where it is I want to go in 90 days, okay? And I begin to get real about myself and facing the things that are holding me back, all right? Getting help, getting a mentor, a sponsor, a coach. Get some help for someone to help you get there. What happens when you start to pray is, yes, it begins to change the circumstances, but what it also begins to do is it begins to change your perspective about the vision. It begins to change your perspective about where you're going. It begins to all of a sudden opportunities open up. All of a sudden, somebody wants to be free from benzos in 90 days. I think that is amazing. That is worth interrupting everything I'm saying right now. You can do it. I believe in you. It's possible. I couldn't stay sober for 90 minutes, and it's been over 11 and a half years I've been off all that. You can do it, all right? You can do it. But when we begin to write the vision down and then begin to pray about it, it begins to shift things in our external and, most importantly, in our internal. It begins to change our perspective, begins to change our heart, so that when the opportunity presents itself, the door opens, the relationship, the thing that we're looking for to happen in our external actually takes place, our internal world is in a place where we can actually step into it and do it. All right? Where is it you want to be in 90 days? Write it down, begin to pray about it, and begin to seek out help to get you there. It's one simple step at a time. It's one simple commitment and saying, I'm going to do this because it's going to bring me this benefit. I want to go there. Okay. I want to start a business. I want to write a book. I want to better my relationships. I want to save money better. What is it that you want? How do you want your recovery? Maybe it just is recovery, period. But how is it, if you're already in recovery, that you want your recovery to be enhanced and get better? It doesn't just happen by me sitting over here and hoping it into existence. And it's also not as hard and complicated to get there as many people make it right here. It's not. And oftentimes it's so much more simple than we think. Where is it I want to go? How is it? What is it I'm doing to get there? How am I praying about it? And how is it every day that I'm applying discipline, a little bit of discipline, because I understand the benefits that come about over here. Okay? So I'm